this must have been a difficult time. On one hand, you knew that Edith was declining, but on the other hand, to get ready and to be willing and able to let go of the loved one is a whole different and very difficult story. Edith was a much loved part of many lives. She was so active in so many different areas, and therefore she touched numerous lives in her 91 years. You all have a short bio of Edith's life in your bulletin, and it is easy to see that it was a full and happy life, which she shared with her family, her friends, and with her husband, Walter, of course. She was an integral part here at church, where she taught Sunday school. Some of her Sunday school kids are actually here, and she helped out with meals and events for shut-ins. She was a teacher. She kept bowling until she was up in age, quite a bit, I think. She loved golf and to travel and family gatherings. In listening to you, Daryl, and also others here at the church, it seems to me as if Edith was always on the go, always surrounded by others. So you are here today because you have been touched in some way by Edith's life, as her family, as her friend. The writer of Ecclesiastes reminds us that there is a time for everything. And we are certainly aware of this today. This is a time to share fond memories and to remember, but this is also a time of sadness and mourning. Edith's death, without a doubt, is a loss for you, her family, for her friends, for this church. There is certainly the wish that we would not have to be here today for her funeral. But I hope that we can find comfort and strength in God's promise that death is not the end, but the gate to everlasting life. The promise of life beyond this life, in a place where there is no sickness, no sadness, and no death. And that Edith is home in God's house, dwelling there in a new life, comfortable and in good company. The risen Christ has made provisions for those whom he loves. This is the promise we have been given in our gospel reading this morning. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. I will take you to myself. The promise is that Jesus went ahead and prepared a place where he waits for all of us. It is the assurance that when it comes to death, things are already taken care of. We don't have to worry about anything. This promise is certainly comforting and good news. At the same time, it means to let Edith go. And this is certainly not an easy thing to do. But when it comes to say goodbye to Edith, we come in the presence of God who cares for us, and God's Son who tells us over and over again in both words and actions that God does provide, even beyond what we as human beings have the strength and power to understand. We give thanks to God for Edith's time with us, and we mourn her loss. We do this in the sure and certain knowledge that God will provide for her and also for us in our grief. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. This is a time to say farewell, to remember Edith, to share stories, to comfort and strengthen each other, and time to give thanks for Edith's life, a life well lived. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.